May profits be upon you. I hope your weekend's going well. And we're going to get right into it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to set up our POIs, our place of interest, right? I'm going to look for POIs for where price could come into contact. When price comes into contact, we're going to look for the reaction. All right. Just because I'm picking 4 hour POIs, order blocks and supply and demand areas, all right, doesn't mean I'm going to take a trade from there. And I'm not always looking for reversals or whatever. Follow me, track my pattern of thought, okay? Now, what I'm going to look for on the Dixie, we're going to do some analysis, right? Some top down from the weekly, right? If we squeeze this down, we can get an idea of what price is doing, right? Had a bullish run here, chopped it up, and we can see how price broke structure to the downside. We are now bearish, right? And then price had this lovely pushed for a correction here, all right? But we didn't make a new high. We didn't make a new high. So this bullish run ends here after it breaks structure to the downside again. However, we did manage to make a higher low here, right? Didn't go below that low, all right? So that's something I want to bear in mind, all right? Just something to keep in mind. Now, let's take a closer look on the weekly. We have a lower low, lower high, lower low. This is our trading range, all right? If price goes past this high, then we have changed, we have shifted. This is the shift from bearish to bullish momentum. If price breaks the low, then we know we are continuing the bearish momentum. Okay, but that's not what happened. What happened was we broke that high, the high of the trading range, which means we have shifted from bearish momentum to bullish momentum. Easy to follow, right? We have a break of structure to the upside. That means we're bullish. Now, with that in mind, we've made a higher high. What are we expecting? What is the expectational structure point? The expectational structure point would be a higher low to be made. Am I right? Sounds reasonable. We made a higher high. We're looking for a higher low. Let's go to the daily. That gives us our higher time frame target to the lower time frames. You understand? So when price comes into an area of demand from an area of supply, I'm saying to myself anyway, is this the higher low? I mean, is this the high? All right, the new higher high. Where would we be looking for a higher low? I want you to notice something. Oh, you see this trend line here, right? Perfectly hit, perfectly hit, perfectly hit. And then we break it here. Keep it in mind. All right. So we hit the daily, we hit the higher time frame supply zones, right? We hit it twice, mitigating, right? And then we break structure to the downside with this impulse to the downside here, right? We ran right past this bullish pattern. This is a continuation pattern, a bullish pattern, of course. And we have some inefficiency that price filled, all right? This is a fair value gap that price filled to this demand zone. Let's take a closer look on the 4 hour at this price action, all right? And we can talk about what we expect price may do, all right? So price comes down to the daily order block here. Now, inside of this, we have a 4 hour a little further down. So price could come lower, all right? What do we want to make note of? Where's the liquidity? Where's the liquidity? We have liquidity up here and all, and these equal highs. Price has a reason to come up here, has good reason to come up here. We have inefficient price movement here. That price will cover. All right, price will cover every inefficient price move. If it's all bearish, it'll come back and balance it out. This is an imbalance, and when it comes back with buys, it balances. It finds its equilibrium once again. Price loves, the markets love to stay in equilibrium, right? I also want you to notice that this magic trend line was broken. Does that mean, oh, price is just going to continue down lower? No, that's not what it means. What we can see is seems to be respecting this diagonal resistance, right? But what we want to notice is the price action. The price action made a swing low here. It's not, doesn't count as a pullback for me. You know, I need at least 2 consecutive candles, and this is more like a pause, but it's a swing low, and a swing low, a short-term low, another short-term low, down into this the lowest short-term low. All right, and we had a bearish engulfer here. This is something I like to see because it gauges, it tells, it's like a gauge that I can look at and tell if price wants to go higher or lower. All right, when I see bearish order flow, I'm looking for consecutive bearish order blocks, right? That continue price. That would be a supply zone or supply chain. All right, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for price to continue to respect bearish order flow. All right, but when it doesn't, this is an indication to me that price wants to go higher. All right, and it gives me a gauge, gives me something that I can say, price is moving very aggressively or not so aggressively in any particular direction. In this case, we see these big bullish candles here. That's institutions stepping in to break this bearish order flow and turn it bullish. So what am I expecting next week? Some weakness to open up for the USD. All right, maybe we get a little pullback, because what I expect after 2 short-term lows, highs, 2 short-term highs are broken, I'm expecting a return to impulse. And the impulse is from this order block here. Why that was spread all the way over there, I don't know. But this is the bullish order block here, a 4-hour order block. I'm expecting price to come back here, maybe give us a pullback, and then we break back on the other side of this magic trend line, all right, and fill this inefficient price move and head towards that liquidity up top. That's what I'm thinking. If price decides to violate this 4-hour order block and come lower and shoot lower, then we'll, you know, I'll adjust, and we'll adjust, and we'll just make I'll put out another video and say, okay, this is, we're looking for price to touch down on this 4-hour order block. This becomes our new POI here, and we'll see we'll see how it reacts, because that would be a pretty precipitous break to the low side for the US dollar. And that would mean the markets would go up. I'm thinking about all those other things. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for, and we'll see how it goes. Let's check the next major, right? Well, the first major. All right, EURUSD. EURUSD, I'm looking at the exact opposite of the Dixie, okay, because it correlates negatively. 100, the doggone near 100%. All right. You see, we're making lower lows, lower highs. I said lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So we break down to this low here, right? And we see this complex correction going on. Now, if we examine this even closer, we see that we finally got a break to the upside. What did I just mention earlier? Block flow, right? Price is respecting from here. Price is respecting, you see this bearish order block here. We broke it, right? That's saying, oh, that's my first indication price may want to turn bullish, right? And then you see how price has respected it here. respected it here after it formed this bullish order block here. I don't have it all blocked out and everything because I don't want a whole bunch of stuff on my screen. All right, but you can see how price respected, and we see that price is trying to get past the top of this trading range here, right? But the lows are getting higher. We're not coming back to this order block anymore, right? And we see bullish engulfer, another bullish engulfer, bullish, bearish, bullish, all right? Another bullish, bearish, bullish pattern, all right? Bam, we finally break out. And here we are turning, this is a bearish order block, all right? We turned here. Why did we turn here? There's some things going on over here. That's what it is. If we go down to the 4 hour, we see that price was sweeping the highs here, sweeping all of these highs, boom, 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 right? All the way up, took out all this liquidity on this way up, took out this liquidity, and up to this point, we left one more here, right? Price left that here and turned around. What do we see here? We see this pull, this impulse, another impulse higher, and then a pullback, and we form this bearish order block here, right? This is on the 4 hour now. We break 2 short-term lows with that impulse down. Now that's interesting. There is a sell to buy move here. All right, there's a sell to buy move here. You can tell by the wicks. And this is what price is respecting at the moment. What do I expect? I expect price to pull up. I expect price to pull back for RTI, or return to impulse, because it broke 2 short-term lows. We haven't had the pullback yet. This area is where I'm going to be looking for that pullback. And then this would make a very nice short, in my opinion. All right. If price continues dropping, then we'll see what price does when it reaches that the POI here. All right. But I think it makes sense that price will pull back, because US dollar may show an open weak and then become strong. Okay. If it decides it want to keep coming, that's fine. I would look for a reversal here, as this is a breakout from higher highs and lows. I would figure a higher low would be made here, and then up. We'll see. It's all about the contact. We wait to react to how price reacts once it comes into contact with a POI. Okay. But this is I'm looking for the pullback scenario. Let's go to the next major, GU. All right. If we go down to if we go up to the daily, we'll take a peek. We can see we just been making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This is quite the lower high. Is this the lower high? All right. Where's the trading range? Where is the trading range? After this pullback and this lower low, this low was made by that lower high. This becomes the trading range. All right. With a break to the upside, that means we're bullish, right? Price has been bullish since doggone December. All right. However, we ran into a daily supply here, and we broke structure to the upside, leaving a lot of internal liquidity here. We have equal or relative equal lows here for more liquidity. What am I saying? Here, after this pullback and this leg of structure, price, this was the last major lower high. This is a pullback for me. It counts as a pullback and down. All right. And we are bearish, right? But this is a lower time frame. This has a lower what do you call it? Value, weight, in regards to this this high, that lower high, and this lower low. All right, this high, if it's as long as we're under this high, we could be making a lower low. That's the whole point. On a bigger time frame, if we go to the weekly, we can see this low was broken here. We made a lower high relative to this one, and then we broke that. See how this becomes a little bit minor. All right, the higher time frame, we can see that this low has not been broken. If we don't break this low, we're still bearish, and I would still look for the higher time frame target, the intention to make a lower low. That is my directional bias, and it is what do you call it? Is based on the higher time frame intention. I hope you understand that. I hope that I made that pretty clear. Okay, so on the 4 hour, we see the price action. Oh, come on, man. On 4 hour, we see the price action here. We had a brief pause here. We pulled up, came down right here. All right, this high is the high point. All right, some people would argue that this might be a quasi. I'm not going to argue that at all. All right, what we have here is this higher low point here and this point here. All right, you can look at this as one leg of structure if you like, but I'm looking for short-term highs and lows at this point. All right, and we broke a significant structural point here as far as short-term, swing lows. So I like the look of this. All right, if price comes back up to test the originating impulse order block, then I'm looking at this scenario here where price may continue down further. Okay, I just stumbled through all of that, didn't I? All right, there's a good reason for it. There's a lot of liquidity to get if price starts to work its way down. If we do, come on, man, I just chose that thing. If we work its way down like this here, all right, there's every chance that price could want to make a higher high here and then break structure and then do this number. All right, we just got to be careful. We got to see how price reacts. All right, well, when it reaches a POI, I can't stress that enough. Just because it hits a POI doesn't mean you're going to take a trade immediately. All right, you want to make sure you see the transition of price, a break of structure, or two short-term lows being broke, and then a return to the impulsing order block for the head and make that right shoulder. And you take your right shoulder entry. All right, that's what you want to see on the lower time frames. You immediately, I work from the 4 hour, the 15, and then to the 1. All right, that works. That works for me. All right, I go to 4 hour for my direction and my narrative. What does price intend to do? What is the intentional move? A higher low, a lower high. Then I go to the 15 to get my bias. All right, and then on 1 hour, I'm looking for an entry, as it fits my criteria. I explained it in my previous 2 videos. Check them out on structure and all that good stuff, or the one on entries. Okay, you'll love it. All right, so this is what I'm looking for: a pullback and then down, very similar to EU. All right, I'm looking for maybe some short-term weakness in the dollar, and then the strength coming in. All right, and we can look at price come and get those lows out, take those lows. All right, let's go to the next major. Let's go to USDCAD. We'll go to the daily real quick to take a peek. We can see there was again with this, we can see that price was very bearish, had a nice little recovery here. I love these formations when they come. All right, we have this nice formation. So people are going to call this a cup and handle, whatever. It's a very bullish pattern. All right, we see how price chopped its way up, failed to make a new high relative to that one, and you saw how price fell, but we made a higher low relative to this one. We're looking at the big frame, the higher time frame structural points, down, up, right? Now, we took out the high here. This is a brand new high, all right? This is a brand new high, okay? All right, but we also made a very bearish leg down, right? Why? We made a higher low. I mean, a higher high. We're expecting a higher low, aren't we? That's what the higher time frame looks like it's trying to do. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This would be a good candidate for you. See this magic trend line here? See how exactly it's hitting it? That's just something to note, as a confluence, right? Go to the 4-hour. Let's take a look at this price action at this daily order block. Hit it perfectly, all right? And this one is kind of like textbook, man. All right, you see how price comes in. We got a 2-candle pullback, all right? This is not exactly textbook, but it is kind of textbook because it's a 2-candle pullback, and I just want to see that one trades outside of the range of the previous candle. All right, and we did that here, and price comes in. It's very close though. Price comes in. We got a wick down and a pullback here. That counts, folks. All right. And then we make this ultimate lower low, and then we make that bullish engulfer at the point of contact. This is a very strong sign to me that price wants to go higher. But this confirms for me with the bullish engulfer, this confirms for me after breaking the structural point here that price intends to go higher. So after this break of structure, what am I looking for? A return to impulse, right? And we get that right here. A return to impulse. This is the impulsing order block. It returned to it, and price shot up. That is textbook. And what do we have? Bullish order flow, right? We have a demand here, and then we come down, break that up, and form another demand here. This is a demand chain, like a supply chain, a demand chain, all right? And I'm looking for the next one to form. This is a sell to buy move here. I wouldn't be surprised if price comes down here and hesitates or whatever, does its thing here, because that's a sell to buy, right? But I'm looking for a pullback. I'm looking for the pullback. This is a USD pair led, a USD led pair, right? And I'm looking for a price to maybe pull back, showing a little weakness and then getting strong again, as I've been saying for the other pairs. US dollar strength taking it higher. All right, we have inefficient price movement here. This is an unmitigated order block. I'm looking for station A for the train to run to station B. All right, and we're going to see what happens when it gets there, because I'm looking for price to ultimately violate this order block. So we shall see. Understand something too. We had a break here. All right, we had a break of structure to the downside, and we never got that real hardcore pullback just yet. We had a pullback here. All right, we had a pullback here, but this isn't the originating order block. That was up here. Okay, this high is responsible for this low. All right, so I'm expecting price to make its way up here at some point, and look at all of this, all the highs here to take liquidity from. You understand? It's all about liquidity, folks. Price seeks out liquidity. Internal seeks out external liquidity. External liquidity seeks out internal liquidity. After price made this move down, it swept these lows for internal liquidity. All right. Now we're on the other side of it. You understand? Okay. Anyway, let's move on. So this is what I'm looking for, the USDCAD. The next pair is Aussie USD. Aussie USD. Let's go to the daily. All right. The daily says what? We got a magic trend line here. I'm just saying, man, they can be magical sometimes. All right. But what I like about this pair is clarity. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. And this was after making making a run towards these equal lows down here. It's building up liquidity, internal liquidity. That's what my line is trying to say here. All right. There's internal liquidity here. So if price does what it usually does, build up liquidity, all right, this internal liquidity, and then find a way to come down and take it all, just wipe it all out. All right? We are building here. Chop, chop, chop. All these liquidity points. All right. Price is taken out the highs here. And after this leg of structure here, we broke structure to the downside. What do we expect? A return to impulse, right? And this would be one of the candidates of that impulse. And we're also looking at the fact that this is a USD pair. If price continues to gain, if USD price continues again, there's a good reason that another good reason to why price would want to come down and take out these this liquidity and take out these relative equal lows here. Is this the lower high? Is this the lower high is the question. All right, let's go to the 4 hour. Because if that's the lower high, look at that head and shoulders. All right, if this is the lower high, we can expect price to go lower. All right, now what I want you to notice is that we have this sell to buy move here. I mean, buy to sell. All right, what do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. All right, we see price come down, up, and then down. There is supply in that wick, in this move, and you'll see a lot of times price will come up here and respect that and give a reaction. Sometimes that reaction is more than a reaction, is actually a rejection. All right, so keep your eyes on those things. That's what I want you to do. I'm looking for price to pull back a little. All right, maybe it comes up here. All right, maybe it only gets this far. So just let's look for that temporary weakness in the dollar and the strength in the Aussie, and we'll see what happens when it gets here. All right, and if it comes all the way back up, that's fine. We're just going to look for the reaction. And if we get our quasi, if we get our head and shoulders, if we get a break of structure, that if we see the signs that price is changing character from bullish to bearish, we get that shift, that's when we take our shorts. Okay. Now, in the case that price is just going to drop from here, that's fine. We'll see what happens when it gets here, because this is a bullish order block. And we want to see if price is going to continue down lower, going after the lower into the lows here, running these running a raid on the lows here, or not. But what we want to notice, glad I remembered. See this here? This was a bearish order block. I mean, a bullish order block. Price didn't respect it here. It just ran right through it. Just ran right through it. Bam. What is that telling you? A lot of bearishness in this pair. So if price goes up a little bit, this turns out to be a flip zone, you know, where price goes from bullish blocks to bearish block. I mean, from a bullish block to a bearish one. This might be a zone where price does the opposite. There's a this takes the reason why I'm stammering on this, because this takes some explaining, and I can do it in another video. But look for price to pull back and then come on down, and we'll see what happens after that point. I'm looking to short this market from this higher time frame order block. We had a nice push down. I'm looking for a pullback of some kind. This is, again, the breaking of two short-term lows. All right, we're looking for a return to impulse. All right, or some similitude thereof. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go to the next one. This is the last one, actually, of the pairs. Let's go to the daily. We'll just take a peek. What do we see? We got to break a structure to the downside, right? Oh, come on with this. All right, we see lower lows, lower highs, break a structure to the downside, and here we are. All right, in this type of trading range. All right, but we are moving bearishly, aren't we? Okay. So what do I expect from the higher time frames? Is this the lower low? And are we on our way to making a lower high, or are we making the lower high? This is the question. All right. Now, this is NZD. Now, we're going to go down to the 4 hour. I want to take a quick look, though, because I got this one wrong. It started right last week, where I said I was looking for shorts. All right. From Monday to Tuesday, shorts came. Tuesday, you could have took another short, all right, because it was still in the same trading range. However, it changed. It went all the way up. It started, it turned bullish, and I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? But you got to watch the news, right? So on the weekly, we didn't break these highs, all right? We had a nice sharp recovery here where we started breaking to the upside, but look at price work its way down. All right, is this a complex correction? I don't think so. I don't think this is a complex correction. I think this is a change of direction, a change of character, because we're breaking structure to the downside each time it makes those tremendous legs down. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. Okay, and although we played around in this range for a while, this didn't lead to a higher high here. Okay, so I'm still very much bearish on this from the higher time frame perspective. All right, as we are breaking structure to the downside, I am not on a bullish tilt. All right, so we're going to go to the 4 hour and take a good look. We had a break of structure to the upside here, right? Like I said, I was calling for a short. We got that short, and then it recovered, and we could have took another short, and this was Tuesday, and then it turned around, boom, you know. So I took that one on the chin. The other ones, I'm telling you right now, if you go back to my video, you'll see I was pretty much spot on. All right, not with NZD though. I was not NZD and NZDCAD. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I did on NZDCAD, but I know in NZDUSD, I got that one wrong. All right, but the other ones, I was sharp. Check it out. Check out the video. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay. So we have a break of structure to the upside. What does that mean? I'm looking for a return to impulse, right? This order block here at this bullish bearish bullish pattern where we saw price impulse to the upside, I'm not sure if I trust it. I'm not sure if I trust it because look how price closed. Look how price closed. It was bearish. If you take a look on the daily, it closed bearish, man. It closed bearish. USD strength came in, all right? And that's a very bearish candle. So I am very suspect of this bullish 4-hour order block here. There's liquidity to get lower on the lower side. We've already swept the highs here up and left one high here. So, you know, is price going back for that one and turning the NZD much stronger than the US dollar? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, to be honest with you. We ran the highs. I'm looking for the lows to get ran. All right. And we have a 4-hour order block down here further inside this daily order block. This is demand. All right. And I'm thinking that price is going to find the bottom of this trading range once again. So this wick of rejection here, I'm thinking that rejection is there for a good reason. I'm not sure if price is going to go back up to take out the liquidity here and then recover and stuff. This is an inefficient price move, and price could very well take that trip up. Price could very well come on up there and then come back down. I'm looking for, you know, I'm expecting the possibility of a pullback, but then we're going to get here, and then I'm looking for price to take out these lows. I'm hoping that I'm right on this one, because I think I am. And make up for the other mess I made. You know, the other scenario is this order block holds up and we do this, because it made a higher high, a return to impulse, and then continue higher, which would mean this is just a recovery move. You know, I don't know about all that, man. I know in this trading range, we found the high, we had a breakout, and I'm looking for a return to impulse. The impulse is down here, so I'm looking for this to fail, and then maybe we might get some more trading range action. Okay, now I'm going to gold. I'm going to include gold today. All right, on the daily, you can see the price action has been in a range until we had this breakout and then a break back in. All right, but we came back into that range. All right, all the way to the bottom and then back to the top again. All right, and we are at the top again. What does that mean? I'm inclined, just based on that, to look for shorts, all right, in this market. All right, we have, you know, the counterpoint is from this area here, we have inefficient price movement, right? And price could very well take these the liquidity of these highs and go ahead and fill that inefficient price movement, fill that fair value gap, and then come down and sweep these lows. All right, could, very well could. But if we go to the 4-hour, we can see at the top of this range, there is an order block here, a 4-hour order block, right? A whole bunch of mess on this. All right, we got that price respected. It came down, came back up, and then further down to the other side of the trading range. From this trading range, you can see bullish, bearish, bullish, bullish, bearish, bullish. You know, we started to see demand chained, right? A demand chain, another demand chain, all right? Another demand chain, all right? All the way up to the top, all right? I'm looking for that chain to develop on the supply side, a supply chain. And we have our first one here, right? Price is respecting this order block, this 4-hour order block, okay? We're at the top of the range. There's liquidity up here. I'm keeping that in mind. But after this bearish impulse, I'm looking for price maybe to pull back a little bit, and then find its way down. All right, now there is, from this point, we have inefficient price movement here, and price has a reason to come into this order block, and we'll see what happens when we'll see what the reaction is here, because price could give us a pattern that'll take us out of here. All right, could, or price could find its way to the bottom of the trading range once again, finding this order block here for a return to impulse. Lots to consider. Lots to consider. So I am looking for, you see that we took this low here, and we have short-term lows broken here. All right. If we take out this low, I would be looking for a return to impulse and then down. I would. Yes, I would. So there's a couple of things to consider here. When on gold, especially when it's in a tight trading range, you know, I tend to try to get tight, and you don't want to, you know, don't want to get caught in the middle of it. All right. You want to catch the edges, the extremes. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at with gold. We had two short-term lows. Two short-term lows, actually. This is a structural break here, and we had another structural break here, right? We had a close below these lows. This is the return to impulse. I'm looking for further downside action. Even if we don't break this low, there's a lot of pips to get between there and here. You know what I'm saying? But this is the first stop. This is the first stop that I'll be looking at. I hope you found this analysis helpful. And check out the description. I'll leave some links for the other videos. You'll see two videos. I'll leave, you know, when I sign off, there'll be two videos that you can click on to see the breakdown of how to get tighter entries, and also my last week's what do you call the weekly forecast, so you can see, you can gauge my accuracy. All right, guys, be careful this week. Trade safely. May profits be upon you, and I really appreciate your support. Do remember to smash that like button and leave a comment. Give me some feedback from last week. All right, let me know how well you did. I would love to hear from you. I'll talk to you in the next video.